What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Mint City Soccer Show. One of your hosts, David Gussler, and we've got the gang back again this week. Well, sort of. We've got someone that's somewhat here, but we'll discuss that here in a minute. But co-host extraordinaire, he's got a new title for this. It's Mr. Matt Swift, TWERKLOMATI is here to be my co-host tonight. So, Swift, right. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Just holding my pal Adon down after getting fined for twerking, which is the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. So you can't stop TWERKLOMATI. Can't stop him.
We're gonna. You know what? You just gave me an idea for a sticker for the show, so I'm gonna work on that later tonight and tomorrow. We'll see what that looks like. It's all right. But welcome back, sir. I know you had a little bit of a vacation there, but Charlotte is here with a almost 9-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak, I believe, mm-hmm. Right? So Charlotte walked away with 3 points against the New England Revolution on the road, which was pretty big, Swift. And I know we've always been kind of talking about we need to get points on the road. We need to get points on teams like New England, et cetera. This was a pretty big win, especially going 8 games in a row now. Charlotte's looking pretty good on the table, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But how are you feeling right now? I know it's been a little bit since you've been on the show, but how are you feeling right now with Charlotte's performance and where we're sitting heading into the month of September?
It's good. We've caught fire at the right time, just basically like we did last season after Leagues Cup. We had a chance to kind of heal and get one of our best players on the team back, and it solidified the defense, and we're seeing that pay off. And we're in a good spot now for these last, I think it's 5 games left. So I'm feeling really, really good about things, where we are as a team. And, we're still missing some key folks too. So that's always good. We got a week off, another week for us to heal, and all good stuff, man. It's nice to have some wins after that tough stretch of away matches during the summer. But it's good to be a Charlotte FC fan.
Are you and I was thinking about this earlier today, and yes, I'm super excited we're catching fire right now. Is there such a thing in sports, and I guess just talking generally here, you kind of use all your luck too early, and then you kind of peter out in the playoffs I use football
sure.
You could have a really good hot streak there. You're doing really, really well all season, but then all of a sudden all your luck runs out in the playoffs. Do you feel that right now with Charlotte? Because I don't want to say there's a thing as too hot of a streak, but eventually you're going to lose a game or draw a game, right? And I'd rather do that now than carry it all the way through the playoffs and then have the pressure of when are they going to lose or when are they going to draw kind of rile up during the playoffs,
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, we are hitting a pretty crazy streak right now. To sustain that throughout the rest of the season will be that's a tall order. But we put ourselves in a good spot. We only got 5 games to go. We'll talk about these opponents and the schedule and everything like that. But you play one game at a time. And again, we're just now kind of getting back healthy. We're still missing Pep. We're still missing Harry. Those are 2 big pieces of this team that are just not there yet. And they will be down the stretch. And especially as we make it into playoffs, they'll be available then. So there's, I see what you're saying, maybe peaking too soon, but also too, we're going to get better as those 2 players come back too. So.
For the record, too, this is the second longest single season streak in MLS history, excluding the shootout era, which is like MLS 1.0, MLS 0.5, whatever you want to call it. They are only behind the 2018 Seattle Sounders, who won 9 in a row. So Charlotte has a chance to flirt with history here and tie the record as they take on Inter Miami on almost a week and a half from now. Like you said, we got a little bit of a stretch here, but that's the only thing that's in my mind is I don't want to peak too early, but it does feel good to finally have a stretch that's able to cancel out that horrific stretch we had during May and June. Yeah. Imagine if we had just won 1 or 2 more games or drew 1 or 2 more games during that time frame and then had this stretch right now, where would we be at in terms of feels, vibes? we could be talking Supporters Shield if that was the case.
That could very well be. I think again, I go back to now we have Nathan Byrne back. I'd say probably our best signing we've ever had. Pep is right there. Zaha is getting close to that, but I think as far as direct correlation of wins and losses, Nathan Byrne is the man. Didn't expect that when we signed him. Didn't think he was going to have this much of an impact, but he clearly has. But now that he's back, we're now kind of back into 2024 where we bend, don't break, and we're just hard to beat. And getting a little lucky here and there. But the thing is, like, this team has been riddled with injury all season long, right? Nathan Byrne goes down pretty early. We can't keep a left back healthy to save our lives. Pep goes down. So I feel like we're kind of owed a little bit too still. So I'm very hopeful about the next 5 games and then the playoffs.
Yeah, it's interesting because let's talk about Nathan Byrne just for a little bit, because I know before we talk about the impact of having a solid left back or right back has for this team, because I know you've been very adamant about that for 4 months now. That's true. Let's talk about Nathan for a second, because like Nathan came to us pretty early on. Was a signing kind of in the fall transfer window, if I believe, or was it late spring? I can't remember 100%. When he joined Charlotte FC, but he joined during that Christian Latanzio era. And I don't know if you remember, Swift, but we were pretty bad defensively during that time frame. And it was almost people were questioning some of our wings, some of our backs, some of our center backs. Do we have the right players here? He signed in August of 2022. So, he came in and all of a sudden, he's being asked to kind of play more centrally, being pinched inward. Remember that fun experiment we had there, Swift, of our left and right backs basically being pinched inward. And he didn't look so hot during that time frame. Like, I mean, he didn't look bad, but like no one on defense looked good during that time frame. But if you asked me in 2022, if Nathan Byrne would have been the most impactful defensive player we had on our roster in 2025, I would have been like, nah, you're messing with me. There's no way that would have happened.
I'm not saying just defense. I'm saying the whole team.
I know you are.
Most impactful, because he also helps us going forward too. But I mean, just what a kind of under the radar ish signing. And again, direct correlation of wins and losses, especially this season, of when he's there and when he's not there.
It's crazy too. He's sneaking up on some pretty significant milestones, just even in his own career. Because I mean, he's not the youngest guy in the world, like at 33 years old, but he's played a lot of minutes for Charlotte FC since being here. He played 31 matches in 2023, 31 matches in 2024. This year, obviously missed a little bit of time within that space, but I mean, he played 82 games for Derby County. He played 127 games for Wingen and Wolverhampton Wanderers, or as Donnie says, the Wandering Wolves kind of situation here. But and he played 90 games for League One early in his career. So he's making a pretty big statement in terms of performance here, time here. He's making a pretty lasting, impactful name for himself early on in the club. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And I'm hoping that fans more and more, especially the way things have gone, will really appreciate Nathan Byrne a lot more. Not saying that they didn't before. I'm not saying that at all. But we've talked about Kalina, we've talked about Malanda, we talk about Pep, we talk about Zaha, we talked about Patrick Ajame. Like, there's other players, especially offensively, that fans tend to, really like and gravitate towards. But for me, because I was so hell-bent on our fullbacks being the reason why we were losing, just to see him come back and immediately kind of sets the tone and helps us going forward too. He just knows when to go forward, when to get back, and that's hard to teach and coach, just natural instincts. But man, just what a player, and just a great person to have on the squad. And I'm so glad that he's back and healthy. And if we can get the other side squared away, get Harry back, I'm going to feel really, really good about the end of the season here.
Just whatever you do, Swift, do not get Nathan Byrne's name on the back of a jersey, because every time you do that, a player ends up being sold, cut, moved. Oh, it's true. That's not true. That's true. We're going to leave it at that.
I have Bronico jerseys. I have Westwood jerseys. That's who I have the most of.
You also have Sergio Ruiz and
I got that jersey. Yeah, that is true. So I had to get Sergio because he was our first player. And so, whatever. And then I did get Yeri. I thought he was going to be here for a while. He probably should have been here for a while. But anyway, so yeah, that's the only one really.
Yeah, that's okay. I like the narrative that you caused everyone to leave, so it's okay. I'm gonna stick with that one and just call it a day. So,
that's fair.
So I'm gonna link it back to this game that we just had against New England Revolution. So Nathan obviously started for this game. Your good friend, buddy, pal, Marshall Ruddy had to start in this game due to Harry's unfortunate timed hamstring issue, which I'm going to talk about that here in a minute, but is out for a little bit of time. Hopefully he's back in time for Miami. But Marshall Ruddy starts at right back. Nathan Byrne starts at left back. Outside of that, same starting 11 we've had almost during this exact same stretch. You had Jabril Gianni, Ashley Westwood, Brand Bronico, Vargas, TWERKLOMATI, Zaha starting up top, and then Molanda and Reem being that anchor in the center back role. So what stood out to you from the New England game first, and then we'll talk about some other things as well.
We'll start with Marshall Ruddy. Like, I've been very, very critical of him. Thing is, like, the more games he's going to get, the better he's going to get. And now he could possibly be learning under Nathan Byrne and Harry and some of the other, defenders. He could get better. It's just, it's tough. It's tough for me to, I guess, like him. And again, there were moments in this game that I didn't think he was all that great, but overall, I thought we did well. Sorry, I had to grab something to drink.
It's okay. I should have been a good teammate there and filibustered for you while you're taking a swig. I'm sorry. So
that's all right.
I couldn't come off mute.
But no, I think this game was very much like a 2024 game. Bend, don't break. Clean it, coming up with a couple good saves, and it's just tough to beat New England.
Yeah, I mean, New England's, I don't want to say they're like the Red Bull for us, because Red Bull's definitely had our number for the longest time. New England kind of had our number there for a long time too. Like, they had 5 wins heading into this game against Charlotte FC. And if you looked at, our recent run of form, they had beat us earlier in the season. They beat us once in 2024. They beat us twice in 2023. We split games again in 2022. So, like, it wasn't like they were, any slouches here. Now, ironically, every time we've usually played them, we should have been like, yeah, we should have beaten New England here. And it's always been we kind of, messed up or had a goal go in or whatever it happened. Right. So, it was nice to go up to New England, win this game on the road like we should have won, and then be able to kind of make our streak keep going ahead. Injuries, though, kind of popped up in this game a little bit before I start talking about the goals. But Jabril Gianni kind of got injured pretty early on within the game. 21 minutes into this, he had to get subbed off due to what could have been I don't want to speculate, but hamstring leg injury from what it looked like. What have you seen from Jabril lately? Because I know, again, that was a player that we have been critical of at times throughout his career and season here. But over this stretch of 8 games, has really started to come into his own form. And, I just want to get your thoughts. I know I talked to Chantry and Donnie about him last week. So what's your thoughts on Jabril's performance lately?
I don't know if I agree with coming into form. He bugs me quite a bit with certain things that he does, but I thought, maybe like the past 2 games, definitely improved. It's unfortunate that he got injured here. Maybe he's one of those players that just needs more minutes and everything like that, but there are just certain things that really irks me about his play. And just the expectations of him of what he was going to be doing when he comes into this team. I just haven't really seen it. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes and playoffs, but I want him to do well. I'm just not quite sold on him.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, I'll share. Like, I think he's done well in terms of the past few games, coming in and stepping in and being a starter for us in this situation. I think Dean's system sometimes asks him unfairly to do things that's probably not in his best interest or skill set in terms of, that kind of double pivot, having to push up sometimes and be a box to box, which I don't think is truly his skill set, right? But he got subbed off pretty early on. When it comes to that game, right? And then Eric Williamson came in for Jabril Gianni, and not to make this the downer of the conversation, but what do you think of Eric's performance, kind of stepping in? I know it's always hard if you come in very early on in the game, you're not warmed up, you're not expecting to kind of come into that situation, but came in very early on for Charlotte and got put into that kind of double pivot or 8 role because Brant stayed up top. What do you think of Eric from that perspective?
I hate it because I've been critical of Ruddy, and then I was just saying some critical things about Gianni. But another guy,
I've set you up for failure here. So
no. It's we'll talk about some good performances.
Yeah,
but there are 3 people on this team that I'm not sold on. I really don't care for as a player. I'm not talking about as a person. And Eric is that third one. I'm going to be nice. And I'll just say that I would like to see him move on from this team. I'll just leave it at that, because if I say anything else, it'd be really nasty. What a waste of money. I'll just stop there.
Yeah. And I guess if you're Dean in this situation, like we don't see practice, we don't see the locker room, we don't see the film, like we don't see that perspective. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Dean or Christian or whoever it is on the coaching staff that's looking at and making these decisions here. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those situations. And I know I was pretty overly critical on Bill Tuiluma earlier about, his salary cap spend versus playing and minutes and things like that. But at least he's coming and contributed a little bit so far this season. But, we've got a player here that was on a 1-year prove it deal from Portland, basically. And is not come to form in terms of what you expect in terms of spending, right? So a little bit disappointing there. I know we got some fan questions about some situations that we'll touch on here a little bit later, but let's talk about some positives, since I ripped the Band-Aid off about the not so hot for this game. But this game started out pretty quickly for Charlotte. I mean, we scored early on. That's not something we tend to do too often, but I was really excited to see just the way that goal happened. So Brent Bronico scored a goal. It was kind of a wonky goal. Your Mr. Arsenal, Matt Turner himself, kind of swatted and slapped him in the face a little bit while it went into the back of the net. I don't really know. But, so there was a really nice link up play between Zaha, Vargas, and then into Brant, who was in the perfect space, made a good run, and really contributed there. I have some feelings that if MLS had goal line technology, that might have been a really close call, but I don't know. I'm not going to complain about it because I think it was still a goal. But what did you think about that moment, that build up, and really the contribution that Zaha had in that moment, Vargas had in that moment, and then Brant had in that moment?
I mean, it's great to have your wingers being involved in the same goal. Zaha has been great with contributing, assist goals throughout the whole entire season. He's good about picking up his head. And I like that he got the ball, instead of trying to take someone on or drive forward. He looked up, found the pass and made it. But you want to talk about something positive? It's Vargas. I mean, this guy, I wasn't too crazy about his performance last season and the beginning of this year, but someone who has just 180 and just turned this season around is just absolutely on fire, and he's undroppable from the starting 11. He is really, really coming to his own and proven that that's his spot, and just a really great awareness to put that ball back across the goal to a charging Brant Bronico who got into a good spot. And that's what happens, man. That's what you need. You need movement off the ball. You need smart play, and that's what we got on that first goal.
Agreed. I know we kind of gave Vargas some kudos last week when we were on the show, and we had a question come up about him being potentially linked to some Portuguese, league teams as well, which is, good for him. I know we decided not to sell him at this time because it would have, quote unquote, potentially downgraded our team, which it clearly would have been, right? Because of his performance lately. So Charlotte went up pretty early, which was exciting. And then, New England did come back and kind of respond 10, 12 minutes a little bit later. It's kind of a weird kind of situation. Like they were knocking on the door. They had a shot hit the post early on. They had some chances early too. But then in this moment, I can't remember if it was a goal kick or if it was just like run a play. Kalina kind of cleared the ball and it wasn't a very good clear. And it went right to New England and caught Ashley and Eric kind of in transition. And then they were able to kind of flick the ball into the box. And again, it was weird. Kalina seemed like he could have had the position, could have had the ball, but he kind of did this weird kind of, I'm going to stick my arms out. But
I think he was caught in between two thoughts. If you're going to come out as a goalkeeper, you got to commit either way or stay in, but you've got to commit. You can't kind of half-ass in between. And that's what he did. I think he just kind of got caught there. And, Kalina hasn't been as sharp this season as last season. And I think this is one of those times where, he's having some trouble again, like with some ball placement and kind of the smarts there. And then also to just, again, not quite as sharp, but let me say, he definitely made up for that later in the game with some really good saves.
Yeah. So, New England and Charlotte both had chances early on. I mean, they both scored, but obviously had some chances. The one thing that stood out to me in this game, and then after it kind of escalated after this second goal in the game, Charlotte got a lot of yellow cards. If you look at if you just look at the fact sheet, this is what cracks me up a little bit. It's like Brant Bronico goal. Jabril Gianni got subbed, and then New England scored, and then it's yellow card, yellow card, yellow card, yellow card, yellow card, and it's all Charlotte FC players in this space. Do you think Charlotte was just
5-1? I think it was the
five yellows.
1, 2, 3, 4,
so
five.
Ashley Westwood, Eric Williamson, Wilfred Zaha, Brant Bronico, and TWERKLOMATI all got yellow cards. So do you think that was just kind of a Charlotte was kind of playing, differently? Do you think they got kind of flustered or frustrated? Do you think they were kind of pressing a little bit? Like, what do you think the overall theme was there? Because it's not usual for a team to get 5 yellows, because now you've got 5 players that are on the cusp of potentially getting fouled and being sent off and missing next game as well. So what's your thoughts?
I think there's something to be said about being physical and, trying to push things. Sometimes it's just the referee. Sometimes when you breathe on Carlos Hill, you get a yellow card. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I know there's been times I've been critical of the ref. I don't think the ref was really out in this game. I don't think there was anything poor or, too crazy in terms of that. Yeah, sure. Like Carlos Hill, like you said, had a few little cowls. I'm like, whatever. But I don't feel like it was a poorly officiated game. I think Charlotte just made some unfortunate, questionable calls, I guess fouls potentially at different times. So,
I'm actually. I was curious when we're talking about yellow cards. I think last year we were pretty high up on yellow cards, if I remember correctly. But we're actually towards the bottom this year, if I'm looking at this correctly. And this is updated, I think it is, because it's on MLS.com. We only have 50 yellow cards. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5th from the bottom of the whole entire league. I find that shocking. I thought we would be towards the top. Philadelphia has the most, by the way, if you were curious. But yeah, it's interesting. I thought we had way more.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. We got fouled, or we fouled a lot. It was almost like we were a little undisciplined at times last year, and then this year it seems like we've flipped the script a little bit in that space. I think it helps having Wilfred Zaha getting fouled every 5 minutes. That you don't have the opportunity to foul somebody else for it. But yeah, so the other part of this game was, and was interesting for me, was that I felt like, and this is just me being an armchair coach, whatever. I felt like we could have made subs earlier in this game. Like I felt like we had 5 yellows. We had, and not to make this the negative show or anything like that, but like, because we still won. But like, if you look at our subs, we made, if you take out the Eric Williamson situation, because that was a sub out of necessity because of an injury, we made 3 subs this game, and it was Nikola Petrovic, Leo Bada, Archie Goodwin. Archie Goodwin came in the 90th minute again. So it's like 71st minute. I think if you look at just even the flow chart and the momentum, New England had momentum there for the majority of the first part of the second half. And we seemed like we were riding it out. I don't know if Dean saw something that he was trying to implement or do or take advantage of. I just felt like they were just a smidge behind. What do you think? Am I crazy?
Dean. No, you're not crazy at all. That's Dean's MO. I don't know how many episodes we've actually talked about, like, these subs need to come earlier. Like, I don't know. Dean's MO is 70th on. Like, he's not going to make a sub earlier than 70th minute. It doesn't seem like. And sometimes I feel like they need to come like 10 minutes sooner. Because to your point, David, there is, momentum is shifting. And I don't know. That's just how Dean sees the game. That's how he's been coaching. But he's very consistent. I will say that. Sometimes it irritates me. But hey, he's the coach. I do a podcast.
That is very true. So let's talk about some of those subs, though, because I do feel like there was some good out of it, though. So it was the first significant minutes we've seen in MLS play, not Leagues Cup. But Petrovic got essentially 30 minutes of runtime, right?
Yeah.
What'd you see out of Petrovic from a play perspective? He came on for Brant Bronico. It seems like Dean and the team view him as a attacking midfielder because it's so funny because when he first signed with Crown Legacy, I mean, there was people who were like, "Oh, this is the heir apparent to Ashley Westwood, a 6, an 8." Potentially a box-to-box type of midfielder. But then ever since then, he always comes in as an attacking mid. He gets subbed in as an attacking mid, and then here he is again in this space, gets subbed on for Brant Bronico as an attacking mid. I wonder if he would have saw the field if Diani was still in there, and he could have probably just subbed Eric in at that point. But what did you think of Petrovic's performance? Because it did seem like he came in with a little bit of, I don't want to say spunk, but a little bit of fire to be like, hey, I got to make the most of these minutes I have.
Yeah, he's only going to get better if he actually gets minutes. I mean, he's gonna struggle here and there because he's just not match, sharp, right? There's match fit, and then there's sharpness that comes with actually having minutes. Kind of like Gianni too, like he's not going to be as sharp as if you're consistently playing. So I'll give Gianni a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there, but like Pekovic, like he's got to have minutes. And if you're only getting 10 minutes here and there, it's hard to impress, especially when you're playing the role that you're playing. And I will say we have had historically kind of like the scouting of what is a 6 and an 8. You know what I'm saying? Like who's going to play those roles, and sometimes we don't get it all the way right, and we're not really sure. So he may have been one of those people like, oh, he could play either one, and then I'm not really sure where to place him. But there is a little bit of a logjam there. I've said my views on Eric and Gianni, but Dean has not really utilized Pekovic a lot this season.
Yeah, he was making some decent runs. I know there was an opportunity there at one point. I got to look up the exact minute, but there was a time there where there was a ball in the box and he was kind of open and he almost had an opportunity there. And then there was also another one where him and Zaha kind of linked up a little bit and almost had a chance again in the box that had like a hockey assist with Zaha. So I liked what I saw of Petrovic. I hope he continues to get some more minutes here and there. Do I want him to start every game right now? No, but I want him to get some more minutes. So, and then 87th minute came in, another set piece goal from Charlotte. It's funny because I remember 3 years ago, we were like, love of God, can we please practice corners and set pieces?
We were really bad.
Horrific. I feel like we got one out of a year and a half from that space. But we've gotten a few now with TWERKLOMATI, with Ashley Westwood in this situation here. But foul at the top of the box, 87th minute. It was great spot because you could take a shot. You could also curve it in. You could set it right in the box. It's a dangerous situation. It was interesting though, was that your Mr. Arsenal, I keep mentioning Matt Turner. I don't know if you remember that moment, but he was calling for 3 people at the wall. And he was yelling at 3. I want another one, 3, 3, 3. And New England only had 2 people on the wall. 2 people on a wall that close right outside the 18 box was kind of a unique choice by New England. And then, even then, Ashley Westwood curves it in, has no issue with the lack of a wall per se. And TWERKLOMATI, or as you have termed him, TWERKLOMATI, jumped up into the air and got a beautiful header into the goal there for it. So what did you see from that? What was exciting other than the twerking from TWERKLOMATI?
No, we've got a lot better at set pieces. I can clearly see they've been training, especially on there's a short corner kind of thing that they've been working on too. So they've definitely have improved. Ashley's service into the box there was really, really great. And TWERKLOMATI is just, I mean, what can you say about this kid? Like, he's good in the air. He's fast. He's tenacious. Like, just an incredible signing, again, kind of low key under the radar signing. And it's crazy to think about this. Like, we sell Patrick, or like, oh no, or no, let me back up. Like, we get rid of Swiderski, we get rid of Enzo, then we get rid of Patrick. And you would think a team that has done all these things, you're like, oh man, who's your striker? And you didn't get a DP striker. At TWERKLOMATI's like, we don't need one. You got me. So he's just really proven himself, and it's been amazing to watch him play and what he's been able to do. But great header.
Yeah, he's two goals away from being tied for first in terms of top goal scorer for the team this year. Pep Biel's at 10th, and then Wilfried Zaha is at 7 from that perspective. So TWERKLOMATI, I know we talked about him a good bit last episode. I read a little quote from Thomas Schalling, former scouting director for Charlotte FC, was raving around about him when we first signed him, even mentioning that we had eyes on this kid since 2022 and we couldn't bring him in sooner. So they've been watching him for a while, and it's great to kind of see him evolve and become a starter. And it's funny because it's almost like confidence too. And I know that celebration, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But that's confidence. Like, if he would have scored that goal 6 months ago, he would have just been excited and been whatever, right? But it's also kind of like swagger and confidence. Be like, oh, I just scored a goal. We now took the lead. It's 3 minutes before the end of the game. I'm gonna fake like I pulled my hammy and then go over and twerk and celebrate that we just won, just scored this goal. But go ahead. Yeah, no. Well,
first of all, Thomas, don't you even think about coming getting TWERKLOMATI.
No.
They'll take you from this team.
You can for $15 million. There you go. How about that?
Yeah. No less than 10 million. That's our cutoff from now on for all of our players. I think TWERKLOMATI did hurt himself. That's the thing.
He did. But part of the celebration though was that
right. Yeah.
You kind of fake like oh no, I pulled a hammy, and then you stop what you're doing and you twerk, right? But yeah, he definitely did do something though, because about a minute or two later, he is kind of like, let me just sit down here for a second. But the celebration was not like, because I know we had a few questions in Slack of like, oh man, did TWERKLOMATI get hurt right there at that celebration? And it's like, no, he didn't get hurt doing the celebration. He may have done something landing or jumping or something, but I don't think it was from, twerking.
Yeah, was it from that celebration? I mean, and multiple people have done that celebration.
I'm just trying to say twerk as many times as I can this episode to see if we can break a record for the word twerk being said in the show. So.
But yeah, and then, MLS is going to fine him for it because it's inappropriate twerking. So.
See,
okay.
I'm so torn on this because it's like, and I'm sure that's one of the fan Q&As, and not to jump the gun on this thing, but like, I don't know. I love the era of like celebrating and having fun. That's what makes sports fun. I go back to remember like the NFL 10 years ago when you had like Chad Johnson and Steve Smith and Terrell Owens. They were pulling Sharpies out of socks and hiding cell phones underneath the field goal post and going up to cheerleaders and doing like that's fun. You score a goal, you get to celebrate, and like it's not hurting anybody. You're not breaking any sponsorship rules. And like, what did Toklamati do that offended somebody? Like, get out of here.
But then they're like, I don't know why attendance is going down. I don't know why people are not tuning in. Because you take all the fun out of it. Like, that's why. That's why people stop tuning in. You take all the fun out of it. Like,
the ironic part of it is that the team and the league both shared the celebration and the goal and him twerking on social media. And then 72 hours later go, that's not appropriate. But yet for social media, it's appropriate for clicks and views.
Sometimes the MLS acts like it's the Onion. Like, I want to talk more about the fine that Toklamati is getting and some other things. I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole yet with that, but I mean, MLS has so much potential in it, but it just seems to be ran by morons that can't quite grasp what they have in their hands, especially right now. I'll stop there because I want to add more to that later, but it's infuriating watching it sometimes, just the decision making and the hypocrisy of the decision making.
So looking at this game, and like I said, we'll talk about those other things there. Archie Goodwin came in 90th minute. Like I'm going to ask you this question because I know I asked Chantry and Donnie this question last week, so it's not part of the Q&A or anything like that. But what would be successful for you from to see Archie contribute this year? Because we've got 5 games left in terms of regular season play, not including playoffs and those kind of things like that. Obviously getting acclimated, going across the globe, going from Australia to here, getting acclimated, getting to learn culture, everything like that. So what do you expect for him to do, and what would be a good season? Because to me, coming in 90th minute, running for 2 minutes, 3 minutes is not really going to be impactful. I don't think that's really doing him any favors. But when do you start to expect him to get some minutes, and what would be success for you?
Well, we've got 5 games left of the regular season, and then hopefully a long playoff run. So I think you'll see him get more minutes. As far as like contributions, I just want him to be impactful. Like I just don't have a lot of high expectations of output per se. Toklamati's doing so well, and then we're getting goals from all over the place. So I don't know that he necessarily has to score. I guarantee, though, one of these next 5 games, or if we get into the playoffs and he comes off the bench and scores a goal, everybody's going to love the guy. So he just kind of needs to just maybe score 1 or 2, maybe. And I think he'll be perfectly fine. I look for him kind of like a long-term signing. Again, he's getting acclimated to the team, but he has someone in front of him that's doing great. So the chances I don't think are going to be there as much for him to make an impact. But the thing is, like, when Toklamati comes out, Archie needs to come in with a lot of energy and push and really stretch the defense when they're tired. And I think there'll be some opportunities for him there, but I don't have like, oh, he has to have this many goals or needs to do this. I don't have those expectations right now.
Got it. Yeah, I don't really have any expectations for him either, but I just know how people get sometimes. They'll be like, oh,
sure.
Why is this guy not getting minutes, whatever it is, and just let him take his time within that space there for it too. So, I look forward to this space, but not to dive into this too much. But let's look at the table currently, Swift. And I know one of the questions I think came from Matt Nolan, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask this question. And the filibuster here for a second as I pull this up. But I think Matt Nolan asked the question basically like, hey, like how much longer do I have to keep giving Swift a hard time for us finishing 4th or higher on the table? And if you look at the table right now, I'll do points per game here in just a second, but Charlotte sits, technically speaking, in terms of points and tiebreakers, in 3rd place right now. First place, Philadelphia Union at 57 points. FC Cincinnati is in 2nd at 52. Charlotte FC is tied technically with 3rd and 4th with 50 points with Nashville, but Charlotte holds the tiebreaker because of wins. So they're over Nashville. Orlando sits at 5th at 47 points. Miami at 6 with 46, tied with Columbus Crew at 7 with 46 points. And then it keeps going further and further down from there. So is it unrealistic, Swift, for Charlotte to say that they could finish in the top 4 now based off this recent run?
It's not now. When we were talking, I think it was a couple of weeks ago before we were like, we're kind of maybe right in the middle of like
before we have a historic run that could tie the all-time record of wins in a row.
Well, so it's not only that. We have really, really gotten a lot of favorable results past couple of weeks. I mean, like really kind of not lucky, but like we've been very fortunate with some of these other results. So now, if you want to talk about what I've done, David, I can say that 4 is absolutely possible. 3 is absolutely possible. Finishing first, I think is not possible. Just with the games that are left, who Philadelphia is playing. So and you're having to make up 7 points. So for us to make up 7 points, Philadelphia would have to lose 3 games. We would have to win those 3 games. One of them being, head to head, which is possible because we're playing at home. But that is a tall order. But David, I ran a bunch of numbers and spent a lot of time doing some data modeling. And I can share what I have found plugging all this data in.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's share that data because I've got some running data of my own in the background right now.
Oh my god! So what I did is I took in an account of run a form, schedule, and who everybody else is playing, looking at goals for or against, who's playing home, who's playing away. I spent a lot more time than probably what I should have on this. But the data that I keep getting is we finish 4th with the possibility of finishing 3rd. I'll give you the probability if you'd like. Us finishing 1st, we don't quite have a 1% chance. Finishing 2nd, we have a 5.9% chance. 3rd place is 14.5. 4th is 24.8. And that's where our most percentage-wise chance is. 5th is 23.3. So there's a really good chance that we're in the top 5. But it seems like every scenario that I keep running, it's 3rd or 4th being the most kind of likely. The thing that has happened, again, getting a lot of results in our favor, Miami now, and we're going to have to talk about this, they may be missing some players going forward. They have a lot of schedule congestion. They may not win out. They have all these games in hand, and that's one of the things I was talking about. I'm like, hey, they're running through everybody, right? And they have these games in hand. They may drop us down. But now that doesn't seem as likely, and they may have some trouble with some players being on their team. But also, too, we also have the Columbus Crew who have absolutely kind of fallen off unexpectedly. So that's another spot that we kind of picked up. So there's actually kind of 2 spots that didn't seem likely a couple weeks ago, now are. So we kind of went from like the 5th and 6th now to like 3rd or 4th. So that's what I did. Like I said, I spent a ton of time on it, ran it through like the system thing, and that's what it's given me. If you want to know, it's got it's got Philly in 1st. It keeps flopping Miami and Cincinnati, either 2 or 3, has us 4th, Orlando 5th, Nashville, who also is starting to fall off now. They were red hot. Now they're falling off, and the Columbus Crew, who has fallen off, they have them 7th, and then NYCFC 8th, and Chicago Fire 9th. Take that all with a grain of salt.
So we're going to do a little experiment here. I need everyone to earmark this because we're going to do a man versus machine moment here. So Swift took all day, slaved over the computer, ran numbers, did some manual math, made spreadsheets, and I quickly search ChatGPT to give us our final prediction. So let's see how close Swift is from this. So you said what place? You said fourth, Swift?
It's the likelihood is more fourth. It's either third or fourth.
So ChatGPT predicts us to finish a likely third place, just behind Philadelphia and Cincinnati. But they also this is how they predict our last 5 matches: a win against Miami, a draw against New York, a win against Montreal, a win against DC United, and a loss at home again on decision day against Philadelphia. And they say it can come down to that last game if these results go in our favor. So wouldn't that be crazy for us to go unbeaten still all the way up to decision day, and that be the I don't know, that's crazy. But I don't know. It's gonna make the last 3 weeks super exciting, even though we're playing teams that aren't super exciting like DC and Montreal. But we'll see. So
yeah, those games
machine.
you got. Yeah, I mean those games you got to really put your foot on the gas. You can't let up. And here's the thing: we have to win our games. There's no we either win or loss this year. We haven't really. I think we still have 2 draws, so which is insane to me.
We either win or lose. It's one of the two.
But take it. When I was putting this in, it takes into account who everybody else is playing. So we do have a shot. But again, if we falter, then we're talking 5th, 6th, 7th. But if we can keep momentuming, we keep getting these results and these teams playing each other that are kind of like in and around us. Yeah, 4th, man, could happen.
I was trying to hype myself up a little bit for Supporters Shield and 1st or 2nd, but I'm looking at Philadelphia's schedule, and I
just don't think we're there yet.
Listen,
not quite.
Philadelphia plays Vancouver, Nashville, New England, DC United, NYCFC, and us. So they play almost the same teams. NYCFC, DC United. They play Vancouver. We play Montreal. So they do have a Nashville and a New England sprinkled in there a little bit. But oh wait, sorry, one of those is Open Cup. That's the Nashville game. So apologies. So yeah, they've only got those 5 games. But I don't know. They've got a similar schedule to us. On the back half. So it's going to be very hard to jump them.
And here's the thing, guys. They're 7 points ahead of us. Yeah. So we have to
drop
make
2 games in a way.
They would have to drop more than 2 games.
Well, they would drop 2 games, and then we would have to beat them in that final game. If we would have to win out basically to be able to jump them. Yeah. So
right. You got to make up those. We have to make up 7 points to even catch them.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, guys. Philly could go on a horrible streak,
you can go 8 unbeaten games in the month of July and August. And who knows?
We were kind of right. We were kind of written off and left for dead a couple weeks ago ourselves, guys. Anything's possible. It's exciting. And I want to talk about this, at the beginning of the year, we talked about, what are your expectations? What would make this a successful season? I think we all said top 4, right? And here we are in the hunt of it with all of the injuries that we have. Think about it. Nathan Byrne goes down. Every single left back we've ever got has gotten injured. And then, so I feel like if we make even the top 5 for me, I think it's a successful season considering the injury woes that we've had. Arguably our best player is still out. And while we're making this run. So, and then to your point, David, what you were saying earlier, just think what would happen if Nathan didn't get injured.
Well, and I think expectations shifted because I remember at the beginning of the year we were dead set top four is what success is this year. We've got to finish better than we did last year, have home field advantage for a playoff game. Top 4 is the expectation. And then May and June happened and it was shit, I'll just be happy if we finish 5th or 6th. And then here we are now in the thick of things, like you said. So to me, I'm still hoping for a top 4 finish. I think we're right there at it. The future is in our hands. If we just take care of business the next 5 games, it's not a situation where we're going to be I hope that other teams falter, or I hope that all these results happen and all this stuff. It's no, if we get 12 points in the next 5 games, we'll finish top 4. And I think that's a pretty
safe 100%. Yeah, it's what this is saying. If we get 59 points, now again, this is all grain of salt. 59 points gets us fourth. But again, that is modeling all these other teams and what they could or could not do. A big wild card is, what is Miami going to do? What are they going to look like? Is anything going to happen to their players, which we'll talk about? How are they going to finish out the season? Is Nashville going to keep faltering? What about the Columbus Crew? There's a lot of factors, but you just have to take care of yourself. So if we can get, here's the thing. It seems like we're already in the playoffs. I don't want to jinx us, but I think we're okay there. How far up can we go now? I think if we can get to 59 points, oh my gosh, I think we'll be good to go. But yeah, you've got to take care of yourself. It doesn't matter about anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Welcome back, Corey. So producer extraordinaire, everybody. So you're back with us. So I guess we could transition to fan Q&A, Corey. So we asked the question a little bit about table timing. Stuff. So let's transition to that, and then we can also sprinkle in some other chat talk here too. So
yeah, so I have no idea what y'all talked about already. So if I ask a question that was already been covered, just let me know.
Peek behind the curtain, everybody, is that Corey was doing an NFL football draft while doing this. So that's okay. Just go ahead.
There's no joke. That's actually what I was doing. And look, I wouldn't normally have a fantasy football draft supersede the podcast, but it's the one I'm the commissioner of, so I feel like I probably should be there. I was multitasking during the first half of the show, kind of listening, but mostly not. Also, this is a 16-team league, so by the time you get to like the 9th or 10th round, you're seeing guys. You could put fake players in there, and I would draft them because I wouldn't know any better, because you're seeing like deep depth chart guys. So really trying to decide which, 5th level Detroit wide receiver I want to get. That's some
real sicko behavior, sir, having to get into that level there. But go ahead.
It would be sicko behavior if I actually knew what I was looking at. I just was picking players at random. Go ahead, Matt.
No, let's take a break. I have to use the bathroom.
Okay.
And we are back. Matt, feeling better? All good?
Yeah, that's much better.
Good. Now we can get through this Q&A. I love it. All right. Again, I don't know what y'all talked about because I was busy. So if this has already been discussed to any length, just say next. Just yell next really loudly. It'd be great for everybody.
Great.
Lots of questions from Eric Hill in here. So here we go. If MLS has not yet made a statement on the Miami postgame incident after Leagues Cup, what do you think should be done by MLS, and what do you think will be done by MLS? They haven't made a statement yet, have they? I haven't seen anything.
They have not.
Okay.
No.
Did y'all discuss this at any kind of length already?
No. We talked about the TWERKLOMATI twerking, but that's
we'll get to that. There's questions about that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But so I guess we should give some context around what we're talking about Miami. If you happen to not watch the final of the greatest tournament on planet Earth, the Leagues Cup final. Which just, I wasn't planning to watch it, but then I saw that Seattle was already up 2-0, so I turned it on and watched the third goal, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this. Seattle won 3-0 against, what did you call them, David? I liked yours. Enter retirement. That was good.
Enter retirement, or retirement Miami. Enter retirement was the probably thing what I went to. Yeah, there you go.
Against Inter Miami. And some players from Miami were not happy, including one, Luis Suarez. So he was just fighting people. Apparently, someone was throwing punches,
fighting.
He was spitting at a coach. It was not a pretty scene. So, so far nothing. But the question for Eric is, what do you think? Two questions. What do you think should happen, and what do you think will happen? Which I think are very different questions. Matt, you got some thoughts?
Yeah, one, I hate Suarez. Always have, always will. He's a punk. I hate this dude. Like he's bitten 2 people. He's always into some shit.
4.
He's bitten 4 people.
Yeah,
whatever.
4 people.
And now he has literally
any number more than 1. Any number more than 0 is too many.
He's done it in the World Cup
in a fit of passion. It's like, okay, that's weird, but like maybe don't do that again. And then he's done it 4 times.
So like I tell my 4-year-old, don't bite anyone. You don't bite. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say his 4 situation. There's one time at Liverpool. There was one time at the World Cup. I think there was another one, but then I always chuckle because there was an incident, I think it was last year, where he kind of was like jokingly biting somebody, but it was his own teammate. So on Reddit and everywhere, they were like, oh, that's his 4th biting incident. So we'll count that one because he's got a clear history of doing it. So that's why I was joking around like with 4. So
yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be allowed to play anymore. Yeah. So here's the thing. You have a better chance of living if you bite me than spit on me. If you ever want to fight me, spit on me. I will go to jail. I will. If you spit on me, I will literally murder you with my bare hands. You do not spit on anybody. If you really want to make me spit on me, see what happens. I will knock you the hell out. So to spit on another human being is just, to me, like the lowest of the low. And he's already pretty low anyway. He should not be able to play professionally anymore. I don't have anything. I've never liked him. Now, what they should do is MLS should ban him and say, you're done. I mean, you've bitten 3 people, 4 people, whatever, and now you've spit on somebody. I don't care if it's Leagues Cup, and I think what MLS is, I'm hoping that they're doing, is waiting for Leagues Cup to come down with their ruling, and then MLS can be like, okay, and on top of that, you now get this. He's not the only one. Busquets hit someone, so he should be I don't think he should be able to play in MLS play.
Another player like put someone in a chokehold. Like it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. The only one, ironically, that didn't do anything was Messi. He just kind of was like, yeah, whatever.
Well, he's usually okay in situations like he's done some sneaky stuff, but I think the team should be fined. And I think what MLS really needs to do, and we could talk about kind of the grander scheme of the thing, I think MLS really needs to be like, okay, Miami or not, David Beckham or not, Messi or not, they have to be made an example out of. Will MLS do it? Probably not, because there's the golden goose. Messi probably owns like half the league now of some under-the-table deal or whatever the case is, but that's what they should do. They have the opportunity to do that because you set a precedent. I guarantee if we did this, like we'd get TWERKLOMATI just got fined for twerking, for God's sake. I mean, so at bare minimum, the team, the players should be fined and the team should be fined. Bare minimum.
Well, I think that you just alluded to it. I think that sets the precedent that you're like, hey, like twerking and poor goal celebrating is fine worthy. What is biting
spitting
and punching and spitting and it's not even like, and to your point, it's not like Suarez's head. This is the first incident. He got suspended by FIFA for 4 months to not play soccer anywhere for biting previously. So it's not like he hasn't done this before. So it's already happened, and it's happened multiple times. So this guy's, I don't know. I'm not saying this because we play them next or anything like that. Like this guy should not be. That kind of behavior should not be allowed to be seen and be played. And if the team is worried about, it's not a good look to have a player twerking as a celebration. It's also not a good look to have someone spitting and punching and fighting after a game at the same time.
Yeah, and again, I know this happened in Leagues Cup, so Leagues Cup has the opportunity or not to do something. But again, this is an MLS team in a tournament that represents the league. And if this is how you're going to represent the league, you got to pay the price. There's no way MLS doesn't do something here. And if they don't, I think it's time for Don Garber to leave. I mean, I honestly think it's time for him to leave anyway. I think he's done his job. I think it's time to get some better soccer folks in the building.
But like you say, like it's, and I agree with you. I do think they're probably waiting for Leagues Cup, and I kind of giving the benefit of the doubt here because the game happened at 8 p.m. on Sunday. Monday was a national holiday, and now it's here, right? So I'm going to give them one more day because it kind of gives them a 3-day span to be able to get a ruling here. But like I do chuckle. It's like we're going to wait for Leagues Cup to figure this out. Well, doesn't MLS half of Leagues Cup anyways? So like, who are they waiting on, themselves other than League MX? Like what are they doing here?
Yeah, it's its own kind of like, just like when we have any other tournament,
sure.
the FIFA
governing
World,
body.
What? Yeah. So I don't know, like, and it needs to happen before this weekend. You can't be like, well, we'll wait after this game to give them an opportunity to play Charlotte. I think every fan base, including a lot of the Miami like podcasters and some of the folks kind of like us that cover Miami, they're all saying like, screw Suarez, get him out of this club. This is unacceptable. So there's like a lot of outcry from basically everybody and a lot of pundits and everything like that. So, I mean, something needs to happen.
I will say,
I'm really hoping that they do.
Kudos to the Apple TV folks and the MLS like talking heads a little bit, because they were pretty critical of that situation immediately after it happened. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to wait 24, 48 hours to see what happened, blah, blah, blah. Like they were on the post game for Leagues Cup, like, that behavior is unacceptable. We should not see this here. And if you go back and watch the clip of it, the nasty thing, not just the spinning, but like Suarez steps on the guy's foot and prevents him from being able to pull away. And he's stepping on it while leaning forward and like kind of talking down to him, and then spits on him at the same time. Mm-hmm. So like he knew what he was doing. It wasn't like, oh, I was talking loudly and I spit by accident. No, this was an intentional behavior.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's bitten 3 to 4 people.
he's got the track record here. It's not like this is foreign behavior for him. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it wasn't just him. It was some of the other Miami players that need to be held accountable. You don't punch a player.
Yeah.
Busquets punched a player. That means you get suspended, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Should.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You mentioned what Philip Sanford asked, or just basically saying, I know these situations are in different competition types, but how absurd is it that MLS dropped the hammer on TWERKLOMATI and still hasn't commented on the post-match situation with Miami in a tournament cooperated by MLS? So I think y'all might have already talked about it, but any thoughts on?
I'll just say, I mean, I'll give them one more day, just because, like, if you think about it, the TWERKLOMATI situation happened on Saturday. You had Sunday, holiday, and then Tuesday happened. So it gives them 3 days. Then you have this situation. Yes, you may also have Leagues Cup come into play, but this is also, there's so many moving parts. It's not just one person twerking on the goal, right? It's multiple people. Corey, just in case you missed it, I'm going to say twerk as many times as I possibly can on this podcast, just to make a record. But you had multiple scuffles. You had multiple TV angles.
Yeah.
There's so much footage that they need to make sure that they watch and do this right, because the last thing they want to do is rush a thing out, and all of a sudden, quote unquote, new footage is leaked of this player doing this, and they didn't do anything about it, right? So they need to do it right.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point, David. Like, they got to see all the angles, see what happened, and then they have to, like, this might kind of be like new territory for them. And also too, it's Miami. It's messy. Miami's the dark. So they're going to kid glove this a little bit and like, okay, well, how's this going to impact us the rest of the season? We really need Miami to be in the finals for viewership and ratings. What are we going to do, guys? My name's Don Carver.
Oh, God. I will give credit to Eric with something kind of he said earlier in Discord, which was, and I'm going to add this part, but I really hope that Ally pays TWERKLOMATI's fine, since he basically just promoted them with the booty sponsor we have on the Heritage kit. So it was just kind of trying to get Ally more out there in front of the fans and to get that brand visibility. So, I really hope Ally pays that fine for TWERKLOMATI.
Maybe Ally uses it as a opportunity to talk about savings accounts and what players can do with their first paycheck from the league.
I want to see that in the next commercial.
Save for a rainy day, or when you get fined for twerking.
When you get fined for twerking. There you go.
Oh, man. All right. Y'all talked about Williamson, right? That was Eric's other question. I think I heard y'all talking about Williamson for a little bit. So I don't think we need to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Down to good old Russell Varner. This is more of a hypothetical, but I'll ask it anyway. If you got to meet in person those who called Zaha a bust after 4 games this season, how hard would you laugh in their faces? David?
Pretty hard, I guess. Yeah. I mean, whatever it is. Zaha's going to be Zaha. He's going to do what he does, right? So he's Wilfred Zaha, dude. So there you go.
I think here's the problem in my mind. The people who called him a bust probably would still call him a bust because they're not.
It's like the Cam Newton folks, man. They're just they're going to double down.
They're going to find
like,
reasons.
You're not going to, yeah.
And I get it to the degree that if you don't like the antics, the on-field antics, which is, I mean, a lot of what people didn't like about Cam Newton too. It was the pregame outfits and the first down celebration and which I think made the game and team fun. Like, go back and watch. Like, I haven't watched a documentary yet. They did a documentary about the 2015 Panthers season. I mean, that team was so much fun. And like, you kind of want guys who are characters that the other teams can't stand because they act like that. And, it just kind of brings this energy to it. I think Zaha does that. But anyway, I think those people who are calling him a bust probably feel the same way because he's still doing the same thing. And he's not always the obvious goal scorer, even though he's impacting the match in so many huge and different ways, like whether it be goal contributions or just sucking away defenders so that other players can perform. Like, he's clearly making an impact, but I think those people who are saying that he was a bust probably haven't changed their opinion. So I don't know if it's worth arguing with those people. Unfortunately. Matt, any thoughts?
No, I mean, I just feel like people that say that, they just say a lot of things and then they just move on.
Yeah.
Like they'll like be very matter of fact about it or go on a show and say something or tweet about it. And then like they'll be completely wrong, but they'll never come back and be like, you know what? He's really turned the corner. Or he's really, nope. They just move on to the next thing that's ridiculous. So at a certain point, you just start tuning people out or like just not going on the Facebook fan zone where most of this comes from.
Yeah.
Just don't look at it anymore.
Just don't do it.
Nope.
The other one from Russell, when BL returns from injury, is there any chance you would keep the 3, quote, destroyer midfield lineup that we've been using lately and used late last season? Matt?
That is an excellent question. Man, that's really, really good because you don't want to mess up kind of like the momentum, but at the same time, how do you keep Pep off the field? Right. So I think what you do is you probably start with that and, get your best player out there, get some goals. Second half, you revert back to that what did he call it? The 3 destroyer?
The 3 midfield? Destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah. Move back to that in the second half. Or if you're playing a team that's really good in the middle or you got to shut someone down, maybe you have to kind of start there and then do the flip, maybe bring in Pep at the end when you're trying to chase a goal or you're tied or something like that. So have a little bit of flexibility. But again, I think it's just really all this kind of goes back to the defense, how good we're back there.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, David?
No, I think as much as our consistency has been in this form, I don't think the reason we're on an 8-game win streak is because of the midfield. I think it's because of our defense being sound and making goals. So I think you do eventually see Pep get back in there. I think it also depends on timing, right? So if Pep is available on September 13th against Miami, I think you do start the same midfield we've been doing with Gianni, Brandt, and Westwood, and then you slowly transition Pep back into it. So you might see Pep may not start the first 2 games he's back, if he's back at that point. You stick with those same 3 midfielders and you bring Pep on and then get him back in the match fit, match shape, and then you start having him start by Philadelphia or New York, whatever it is, and go into the playoffs from there. But I still think you see Brandt, Westwood, and BL as your starting 3 eventually.
Yeah. Yep. Keith, is there such a thing as a hamstring expert? And have we hired one yet? Great question, Keith.
Well, yeah. if you listen to the previous episode, Chanchu was joking around like, roasting some ham in the locker room to get the sage and the voodoo from the hamstrings out there just to try to get some good vibes. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you.
I mean, it's nuts.
Just a freak accident. You know what I mean? So
something's up. I mean, there's just too many of them. There's too many of them. And it's the same injury. If it was like, an ankle or a hip or back or, whatever, it's like there's multiple players with the same injury. So there's something to it. I don't know what's going on. It's very, very interesting.
We're sacrificing hamstrings to the gods for this win streak. That's what it is. We had to sacrifice something. And it was
I'll take one for the team.
Players' hamstrings.
I'll take one for the team on Sunday in the adult beer league. I will sacrifice my hamstring to keep the streak alive as long as no more Charlotte FC players get one. I'll take one for the team.
Oh, man. All right. Matt Chantry says, is the match against Miami pivotal for the rest of the season? It feels like if we win that, then we could potentially win out, which would result in top 4 for certain and potentially top 2. But lose and we risk losing some momentum and only finishing 5th or 6th. David,
I think it's a statement game. I think it would continue to boost confidence. I don't know if it'll make or break it. I think could it kind of make a slippery slope in terms of the last 5 games? Sure, but we should beat NYC FC. We should beat Montreal. Like we should beat DC United. So there's 9 points there. I think we have 4th, if all things go like how they should. I think we have 4th or 5th kind of there for our taking as long as we take care of business, even without Miami or without Philadelphia winning. So, I do think it is an important game though. Even if Miami doesn't have the players there, whatever it is, I think it would be a good morale booster at home to keep this game streak going and then heading into the playoffs 5 weeks or 5 games later.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I think if I'm looking at this right, I think Cincinnati plays Nashville. And if you look at the standings, Cincinnati's 2nd, Nashville's 4th. So if we could win this game, that actually could get us above Cincinnati up to 2nd. I think Orlando plays like DC United. So yeah, it's a pretty important home game. And again, we've talked about just winning your home games, and we have 3 home games. If we win those 3, that gives us 59 points again. But we are playing Miami, we are playing Philly. So like what Dave was saying, I don't think it's, detrimental either way, but this could really set the tone for the rest of the season again, especially with some of the teams around us and who they're playing.
Yeah.
This really could crash and burn Miami, though. I think it's a must win for Miami because they have so many games they have to catch up on because of Leagues Cup, everything like that. I think they're what? They have 3 or 4 games.
They're 4 games behind, but they have 4 games in hand.
They're going to be playing 2 games a week for the next month straight, basically, right? So
I can tell you real quick what the schedule is. So they play us. They play us Saturday away. They play Tuesday. 3 days later, they play Seattle Sounders.
At home or away?
At home.
Okay.
Then they're at home again on the 20th, that's 4 days later. They play DC United. 4 days after that, they play NYCFC away. 3 days later, they play Toronto away. 3 days later after that, they play Chicago. And then I think they may get a little bit of a normal break. I think 1, 2, 3. Nope. 4 days after that they play. So nope. I mean, it's
and they have all that with looming suspensions as well.
Well, so that's the thing.
This really could tumble Miami very quickly the next week or 2.
So going back, like I talked about, hey guys, we need to be mindful, like we could fall down. There's people behind us that have games in hand, and Orlando City is also one of those teams. But to your point, Miami kept making this run in Leagues Cup. And now they have to play all these games kind of like stacked. And then now, like you were just saying, David, there could be some suspensions, so they may not be as strong. So I don't know. It sucks to be them. And the thing is, we took care of business. So that's the thing. Like, I certainly didn't think we were going to go on this run. So we took care of business. You know, they had all those games in hand, and you know, Orlando has a game in hand, but we've won those games. Now they have to win. Now we put the pressure on them to win. It's not a draw situation. They've got to win. So that's good. That's good for us.
Yeah. All right, I'll close it out with this question, building off of that. I really like the simplicity of this question from Max. How are we feeling as the stretch run starts? Vibes, David.
You said, how are we feeling with what?
As the stretch run of the season starts, this final run of the season, how are we feeling? What are the vibes?
I'm feeling twerky. I'm feeling no. There we go. That's my word. No, I'm just joking. So I'm feeling good. I feel like we've got confidence back. I think we've got. I think our issue all along this year was not the physical ability to play or having the right players on the roster. It was always the mental side of things, and I think we've actually crossed that hump of the mental side, and then we've also upgraded our roster at the same time. Nathan Byrne being back, Harry Tuffalo at left back, Pep Biel coming back from injury as well. All of a sudden, you've now got a very, and I mentioned this in the last podcast, you've got upper echelon championship level players starting for us and lower echelon Premier level league players playing for us on this roster. We've got the talent. We just needed to get over whatever that bad voodoo mojo vibes were that we had in May and June. We just need to never have that happen again.
How about you, Matt?
We just needed good fullbacks. That's been the difference. So we've got that now. And I kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the show, Corey, like we've gone on this crazy streak and we talked about like, you know, have we peaked too soon? You know, or is this sustainable for the rest of the season? And my thing is like, we're doing this without Harry. We're doing this without Pep Biel. We're just now getting kind of Nathan back. I think we're in good shape. Vargas is hitting his stride and looking good. Even Abada, when he's come in, he's now hungry too because he's sitting on the bench. So we have people that are really kind of getting into it, and I think that the confidence is there now. I think they know that they can go on the road and get a victory when they really, really need to. So I know we've peaked pretty quickly here and done some things that we haven't done before, but at the same time, we still have a lot of positives coming down next couple games too. So I'm feeling really, really good.
I like it. Me too. I mean, how can you not feel good with the way the team's playing? And to your point, Matt, that we haven't even been at full strength in a little while. So things are
I'm going to find something negative to bitch about Corey on an 8-game win streak.
Please
I'm going to find. I'm just trying.
Please do. We need more conflict. That's what sells, guys.
There you go.
You got to argue more.
I'm upset that Whataburger is the upcoming sponsor and not Cookout for the team. No, I'm just
How crazy is it that we've only had 2 draws? I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I was
Cookout's
saying
probably mad about that. Sorry, go ahead, Swift.
How crazy? We've only had 2 draws this season. That just blows my mind.
And there were so many games in that weird stretch of May, June that should have been draws. Like that. I mean, more than some of the matches that we lost that we could have won, I really think some of the most painful ones were things that should have been draws. We just absolutely should have had some draws in there that we gave away late or did something goofy or whatever.
The crazy thing is that we've tied our losing amount of games as we did last year. Currently, we've surpassed the amount of wins that we did last year already. It's just it's the draws. That's what's killing us, and that's it's crazy that we're at the highest. We've won more games this season than we have in any other league or any other year.
Scored more goals, right? Officially after last match.
Yep, that's also true. Yep.
Look at us.
All good things. All good things.
Yep.
All right. That's all the questions we got. Anything else y'all want to talk about?
Just twerking, man. Let's do it. I'm gonna keep saying it until we get.
Trying to get the algorithm here.
I know, yes. Right? Trying to get all the likes. Hey, there's Spencer. He wants to say hey. So there you go.
Twerking in the background. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We're off this weekend as far as soccer goes. So we'll figure out how we want to handle next week leading into that match against Miami. But we hope you all have a great rest of your week. Hope your fantasy football drafts went better than mine did. Hope the Panthers are watchable this weekend.
God, let's hope. Please.
That's the bar I'm setting. Are they watchable? We'll find out. Talk about it next week. No, we won't. It's a soccer podcast. We'll talk about it next week. All right, y'all. See you later.
See you guys.